And now it's time for Guerilla Roundup. They'll let you know what happened overnight when things transpire you whilst you sleep. Right there in the loop you keep.
Well, welcome. Today is the first day of the third Ashes Test in Adelaide, and I'm very happy to have back on the Guerilla Roundup for the first time in this series, Ian Deeker Forth, sometimes referred to as Forthy or Deeks, we heard today, or by some as the Ian. But call him whatever you like, just don't call him late for dinner. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you. I feel welcomed.
So, to get down to the cricket today, maybe you can just give us a brief summary of how things panned out today.
Well, the briefest of summaries, Australia won the toss. Stephen Smith dropped out and Usman Khawaja came back in. Australia chose to bat. And by the end of the day, they had scored 326 for 8. Alex Carey had scored a century, 106. He was out shortly before the end. And Jofra Archer was the pick of the bowlers at 3 for 29 of 16. England's other bowlers didn't cover themselves in glory, but neither did Australia's batsmen in their shots to get out. And that's a super summary.
Brilliantly done, if I may say so.
Thank you very much.
Let's go back to before the start of the day's play. There was drama even before the toss occurred. What were you hearing at that stage?
Well, I was hearing confirmed and then unconfirmed and then confirmed again rumours that Steve Smith had been seen in the nets. He looked okay. He had a lot of twitching going on, but he's always got a lot of twitching going on. And then word gradually began to emerge that he'd been troubled for the last few days by a vestibular condition, which is basically, for those of us who are laymen when it comes to medical terms, more easily understood as vertigo. And although that sounds, I go to the top of a tall building and I feel a little bit giddy, it's something much more profound than that, as two of our members, Anindo and Mog, confirmed. You basically don't know which way is up when this is happening to you. So he couldn't possibly play cricket, or certainly commit to cricket for 5 days feeling like that. So he dropped out at that stage. Usman Khawaja, who must have felt perhaps he'd played his last test, was suddenly summoned back to the crease. And as I was saying to Hendo, as I was saying to Hendo on commentary, sometimes that kind of works for you. I always remember Mark Ramprakash, the best innings he ever played was when he was summoned to the crease a couple of hours beforehand, and he didn't have a chance to get all nervous like he used to get. And Usman Khawaja had nothing to lose. He wasn't expecting to play another test match in his life, and he played very well. He got 82, got out to a horrible shot, but he wasn't alone there.
Yeah. Well, Australia won the toss, I think, for the first time this series, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
And chose to bat, which Stokes said he would have done as well. So how did it start off? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of anticipation after the first two tests and the differing attack.
Yes.
How did it seem at the
Well,
time?
from an English point of view, Archer started off pretty well. He was in the groove. His economy was strong and it remained strong all day. Bryden Cars was obviously bowling to a plan. I think all of us agreed it was a bad plan, but at least it was a plan. It seemed to involve on a slow pitch, batsman stretching for it, which is a bit of an odd plan on the first morning of a test match. But lo and behold, first of all, Jofra Archer got his man Jake Weatherald, who'd played pretty well until that stage. He was on 18 off 27. And Archer bowled a good ball and it's caught behind, so Weatherald had to go. That was well bowled.
I think there was a bit of pace in that ball that wasn't quite anticipated by Weatherall, wasn't there? So it was only more
Yes, I mean
quicker than he thought.
Archer maintained really good clicks all day. He was bowling, he's coming in at an average of about 144 all day, and sometimes considerably faster than that. And that's a handful to face. We ought to mention the weather, which was warm without being sweltering. It was sort of 31. It got up to 35 by the end of the day, which is
Yeah.
sweltering. That is hot. So Jake Weatherall was back 33 for 1 on the same score, 33 for 2. Travis Head, who'd been going a little slowly for him, 10 off 28. was the victim of a magnificent catch, and not the last one today, by Zach Crawley. Um, Mid wicket or the covers? I can't remember which one.
I think it was. Is he left-hander? Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
it
left-hander,
was
so I think
in the
yes, it
covers.
was at,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
covers. Yes, and he hit it well enough, and he hit it strong and down. And Zach Crawley, for a big man, got down magnificently and plucked it one-handed with his left hand just before it kissed the turf, and that was off Bryden Cars, who had not bowled particularly well. But if it was a plan, I guess it worked. So Australia had suddenly lost 2 wickets for 33, having looked perfectly secure. And at this stage, I think the vibe in the commentary box and everywhere, well, Australia are going to pile on 500 here. This is a docile pitch at Adelaide, and England are in real trouble. But
Hmm.
at 33 for two, things were looking up.
Yes. Travis Head, ironically, being caught trying to drive on the up, but then that's what Travis Head does, isn't it?
Here's what Travis Head does. I don't think he is by nature an opener. He's not. He's not been the first man in recent years to be asked to
Yeah.
do something he doesn't want to do in the order. And Travis Head. I like Travis Head. I think he's a good guy. He's a cheerful, classic Aussie who say, "Yeah, I'll give it a go, mate," kind of a thing. You know what kind of a guy he is. He's uncomplicated. He'll do whatever it takes for the team. He is a good bloke, and he'll do it for the team. It is not his preferred, though. I'm sure he'd much rather be coming in at five, and I suspect he's a better batsman down at five as well.
So we moved from a pair of South Australian natives to a South African native and a Pakistan native in Labuschagne and Khawaja. How did that go?
Well, they saw it through to lunch, and they began to look reasonably secure by that stage. Labuschagne had moved to 19 off 40, and Khawaja they're never going to set the scoreboard ablaze, Labuschagne and Khawaja, but on a fairly docile track, they didn't need to. They just needed to bed in on a hot day and exhaust the English attack. So at lunch, I think it was 94 for two at lunch. And we thought, here we go. This is going to be a long old session
Usman had
for
had
England.
a slice of luck, hadn't he?
Sorry, say again. Oh,
Khawaja had a
yes.
slice of luck.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Khawaja sliced one early on in his innings to Harry Brook at second slip, I think, possibly
Yes.
third. And Harry Brook just couldn't sort his hands out in time. It wasn't an easy chance. It wasn't particularly a hard chance either. I think most people would say you'd have expected him to catch it. It was high up to his left, and he just couldn't seem to sort his hands into the right position. And he ended up shelling it. I mean, catches do get dropped at slip, and that one was dropped. So Khawaja had a life.
Indeed. So that they came out from lunch, and the general view was there was a lot of roly-poly pudding consumed at lunchtime. Uh,
Well, we had the most extraordinary over. Me and Hendo were saying, well, this is going to be a long old afternoon and probably another day and a half, isn't it? And I remember saying on commentary as they came out, well, I wouldn't be surprised if they're still in at tea time tomorrow. Uh, and I have to say, Messi, my apologies to you, but my reverse hexes have been working all day. I've had a brilliant
yes, you've taken
because
7 of the 8 wickets today,
no, I
Forthy.
absolutely have. It also indicates how much commentary I've done today.
Yeah.
But first over after lunch, would you believe it? Bang, bang. First of all, Marnus Labuschagne gets caught in two minds. He goes to pull it, pulls out halfway through, and just balloons the easiest of chances up to Bryden Cars at mid wicket. He's gone for 19, 94 for three. At the end of the over, Cameron Green comes in. And he plays a shot he probably would have thought he'd got away with. It was a false shot. It was a bit too uppity. But Bryden Carr swoops to conquer with a very confident low catch, and he was gone for a duck off two balls. And suddenly, from nowhere, it's 94 for four.
Shows what happens when you can take your catches, eh?
Yeah, very
Uh,
true.
and and the sense was at that stage that the pitch was playing quite slowly, and the Australians hadn't really adjusted very well to the slowness in the wicket, had they?
Yeah, that's true. I think it was a surprise that Australia at home hadn't worked out what the wicket was doing. Maybe it's a little slower than they were anticipating or imagining. Maybe they got a little bit complacent at 2-0 and thought, here we go again. Because I think the one thing that England have been worried about all day, or I certainly have been, is that having dropped Atkinson and having fielded Jacks for his bowling, that where are you going to turn to when there's, a
Mm,
partnership develops when you want a bit of control?
yes.
Australia have had one answer for that for the last 10 years, and that's Nathan Lyon. Well, there really isn't anyone in the England lineup who fulfills that criterion. The closest that England came to was Ben Stokes himself, who,
Mm,
like the leader he is, stepped up and bowled 19 overs by the end for 53, an economy of under three, and he effectively bowled the stock bowler. But not only that, he was really throwing absolutely everything into it. You could see he was almost violet coloured by the end of the day.
yes, indeed.
And hats off to him for his performance. Didn't take a wicket, but he did add a measure of control. But then at this stage, as often, Kawaja and who's come in now, Carey, of
Carey,
course, they begin to shape up ominously at this point. I'll hand back
indeed.
to you.
Well, it was interesting because Australia were very vulnerable at 94 for four. And generally speaking, one might expect a degree of consolidation and a slowing down, but we really didn't see much of that, did we? I guess it's not in Carey's nature to bat slowly, but Khawaja seemed to open up as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and I think maybe it was. I always remember Justin Langer, who perhaps had thought he'd played his last test in 2006, coming out and perhaps thinking he was at the last chance saloon, playing a most un-Justin Langer-like innings and throwing caution to the wind. Kawaja did a bit the same. He just probably thought, well, I've got nothing to lose this beautiful afternoon. I'm just going to go rather faster than I usually do. And he ended up going at a strike rate of 65, which is quite un-Kawaja-like. Alex Carey's strike rate was 74, but Alex Carey always looked far more secure. He's
Mm.
probably technically the best batsman these days in the Australian lineup.
Yes, yeah, I think that's true. So Khawaja was actually looking pretty good, and then he played a shocking shot, didn't he, to Jacks?
That's the one wicket I didn't get today, so I'll let you
Well,
describe
well,
that one.
Well, Jack's bowler, a fairly innocuous looking ball just outside the off stump. Kawaja decided to pull it through to mid wicket, but it didn't quite get it on the bat properly. It went up in the air, got caught at deep mid wicket, and all of a sudden, when he was looking set for a century, he was gone for 82. It sort of reminds me a little bit of Crawley. Crawley making 74, which is just enough to keep him in for the next three Test matches. I wonder if it's the same can be said
Yes.
for Kawaja.
Yeah, he's a 70-80 kind of a guy, isn't he?
Mm.
It's we used to complain about Graham Thorpe, R.I.P., but he was far more secure 70 or 80 somehow.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, there we are. Anyway, so that partnership continued from 94 to 185 when, as Message just described, Usman played a most un-Usman-like shot, and at that point it's 185 for five, and then Josh Inglis comes in. So I guess it's what about that at tea time? I don't know, about 190 for five at tea, I think.
Uh, where are we?
No, I've got it here. It's tea Australia 194 for five in
Right.
50 over. Terry was 48 not out. Inglis five not out.
Yeah. Yeah. Inglis, I don't know about you, but English strikes me as someone who's predominantly a white ball player. Coming in at 6 or 7 probably suits him well in those circumstances. Whether you can justify someone as a batter who's in that position, I sometimes wonder. Um, he I just felt he never really looked particularly secure. He was scoring runs relatively easily, 32 off 39 deliveries, but
Yeah.
I, I just never had the feeling it was going to last all that long. I don't know about you.
Well, he was born in Leeds, so maybe he's got a bit of baseball about him. Uh, But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I agree with you. He doesn't look entirely secure at test level. Unlike Carey, who's actually going at a similar sort of strike rate. He's going at the
yeah.
highest strike rate of the day of 82 English. So that's all right. You got one player who's really pressing the accelerator.
Hmm.
And he got 32, a little bit neither here nor there. When Tongue got one to dart back just a little bit more, and he chopped onto his stumps, and he was the only wicket during the day that was not a catch. and he was gone for 32 off 39. At that stage, it's 244 for six.
Cummings comes in and hangs around for not very long, really.
Yeah, he's phew, I mean, it was just a bit of a nothing innings really from Pat Cummins. He got a couple of fours, they looked quite nice. He then got an inside edge onto his pad, and Ollie Pope at short leg, what's the word? Pounced. That's the word.
Yes.
And there was a little bit of confusion because the umpire was convinced, the whole England team was convinced, and Pat Cummins, for some reason, decided to review. And it's a pretty clear, thick inside edge onto his pad on the VAR,
Yeah.
but maybe Pat Cummins thought, well, we've got three reviews, might as well use one of them. I'm not really sure what the thinking was there, but he's out, and it's 271 for seven, and England are thinking, well, with a wet sail, we might be able to scuttle them for around about the 300 mark at this stage.
Yeah. And then who should it be but Stark to join Carey?
Indeed.
Um,
Yes, indeed. And we've watched the last few Ashes from down here, and just when you're thinking Australia might be on the ropes, they'll find some way of finding a 50 partnership at least from somewhere. And lo and behold, that's exactly what Stark and Carey did. They were looking very secure as well. They
yeah.
got the
And
score onto 321 shortly before the end of play, and I was on commentary and said, I mean, this guy, he doesn't look like he's going to get out. He looks super secure. He's played beautifully. I can't remember a chance that he's out, and he
yes.
played the ugliest shot of the entire day. Will Jack's got a little deviation off the straight. Alex Carey went for a big heave because of the deviation. He just ended up hoiking it high into the Adelaide air, where Smith came round from behind the stumps and took it, and he was out. So we should have mentioned he got his century by this point because he was out for
Yeah.
106.
It was a superb century. It wasn't flashy. There were some beautiful strokes within it, and six and eight fours, but it was just a really composed innings, I thought. Until he
Yes,
got
I mean, I
in,
think
as you say, until he got out, he never even looked like getting out.
Australia have been blessed, and you might say, well, that's their system. They produce these wicket-keeper batsmen, but since Ian Healy, there's been a wonderful continuous thread for Australia of Healy to Gilchrist to Haddin. It might skip a little bit round Payne and Wade, but
Mm.
Carey has really picked up, I think, and is
Yeah.
probably secure for many years to come. A wonderful performance from him behind the stumps, which was worth the admission price alone in the last test, and then a lovely century today.
Yeah, he's I think also redeemed somewhat the reputation of wicketkeepers. I mean, Haddon and Wade weren't particularly likable as
Yeah, that's correct.
keepers, whereas I think nobody.
Neither was Payne by the end, actually.
No, well, that was yes, that was silliness. But I don't think anybody actually dislikes Kerry. I mean, I know people have got memories of the Lord's fiasco, but the truth is, as a person, he's just very honest. He was the first to come out and say it was a very good idea for the English team to go to Noosa for a break. Because they did the similar thing in England when they went to Edinburgh. He's just a decent sort of human being, and I like decent human beings doing well in cricket, to be honest.
Well, I totally agree with you. I find it quite hard to dislike this Australian team. There, I've said it. There's, I mean, you can regard Marnus as a weirdo. He is a weirdo.
Yeah.
Nathan Lyon, yeah, maybe. And Scott Boland looks a little bit terrifying with those like, eyes. But I mean, any team led by Pat Cummins, it's a good team of individuals. This seems like a really good. I mean, someone like Travis Head, I really like that guy.
Yeah.
Mitchell Stark, he's a really good guy as well. So is Alex Carey. It's very hard to really dislike this team.
I think there may be a little more to it, Forthy. I think you're becoming more and more acclimatized to Australians.
No,
I
no,
think that could
no,
be there.
that's not happening. No, no.
So Mitchell Stark at Stumps is on 33. He's batted very nicely. He's played the occasional shot that's made me feel very nervous. It's gone up in the air, but fortunately not anywhere near to hand. And
Yeah.
Lyons off zero from 18 deliveries. Uh,
Yeah, well, Nathan Lyon's been Nathan Lyon, hasn't he? He's
yeah,
stonewalled it to the end, and he's got none off 18. And he's done his job. Mitchell Stark, the gods are with him in this series. He can't do anything wrong. He hasn't got a classical technique. He barely moves his legs really, but he's a big man. He's seeing it like a football. He's got 33 off 6-3, as you say. And I don't know how many more series he's got left in. What is he now? 36, 37. So
Yeah,
he must be thinking, well, let's enjoy it while we can.
he's
My
35
my
years and 321 days to be precise.
there we are. There we are. Okay. So whether he gets another Ashes, I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. But he's certainly enjoying this one, and good luck to
It
him.
certainly is. Just a quick run through of the Australian bowlers. Archer, 3 for 29 off 16 was outstanding. Carse
He
has
was.
2 for 70 from 13. Josh Town, 1 for 63 from 15. Stokes, as you mentioned, none for 53 off 19. And Will Jacks, 2 for 105 off 20. So Jacks and Carse were the two most expensive, both going at well over 5 and over.
Yeah. Look,
What's your summation of each of those guys in terms of their
I think
performance?
I think that we were worried about Jofra going in back-to-back tests. He's done that. He's performed above expectations in this series so
Hmm.
far, I would say. Excuse me. I think the Bryden Cars has been the biggest disappointment in many ways because I think a lot of us felt that Australia would suit him. And he's been wayward. Whether he's been asked to bowl to a plan he doesn't really agree with, he hasn't. He just doesn't look as if he's on it. It hasn't let it get to him, to be fair, because he took a really good catch, which he wouldn't have done if his mind hadn't been switched on. But 2 for 70 off 13, it's not great. It
Yeah,
doesn't offer any control to the captain. Josh Tongue, I mean, 1 for 63 off 15's not a disaster, but when he was asked to switch ends in the afternoon, he sprayed it all around the shop. And
yeah,
I just feel that someone at test level shouldn't be that variable. They should offer you a bit more control than that. Stokes, I think, will be the unsung hero of this because he bowled 19 overs with an economy of under 3, which is exactly what you're looking for from your spinner on day one of a test match. You don't
yeah,
necessarily need them to get any wickets, but Ben Stokes, being the leader that he is, stood up and did that job himself. Will Jacks, none of us think that Will Jacks is a frontline spinner. There's at least 6 or 7 better spinners, maybe more than that in the England game. You can list them off, including some of the young lads
yeah,
like Archie Vaughan and people like that who are probably better. Don Best, Tom Hartley, Rayan Ahmed, who's injured, Bashir, who's sitting in the field. He's been brought in because he's a bits and pieces player. He can offer you something with the bat that those guys can't. But at what price? Because two
yeah,
for 105 off 20, he's going to have to bat particularly well to make up for that. Not his fault. He is who he is, and he's more, perhaps a little bit more. He's not. Is he a red ball player? I don't know enough about his white ball game. But I think, look, we knew at the start of the day that we weren't going to get any control from Will Jacks. He's bowled 20 overs for 105, and that's what happened.
yeah. Just one thing on the bowling. They got to the end of the day. There were 3 overs. They were able to take the new ball. Stokes bowled 2 of them and Archer 1. Uh, um, I'll share my view. I thought it was a mistake for Stokes to bowl. He was clearly pretty knackered. He was all over the place with his bowling, and non-threatening.
Yeah.
Playing against a 9 and a 10. Archer wasn't great either in his 1 over, but it seemed to me a perfect opportunity to give someone like Tongue a go, rather
When
than
you say
keep
someone
on.
like Tongue, literally Tongue, because that
Yes,
is what his
yeah,
his
yeah,
role in the side is meant to be to mop up the tail. So
yeah,
I think sometimes Ben Stokes just gets the mist in front of his eyes and feels that but yeah, there's that old thing that bowlers either overbowl themselves or underbowl themselves.
mm,
Usually they captains rather. Um, Usually they underbowl themselves for obvious reasons. On this occasion, I do think Ben Stokes overbowled himself
yeah,
right at the end with those 2 overs. Another wicket then could have been really handy, and I think
yeah,
he was a busted flush by that time. And Jofra, well, we went back to the well once too often, as it happened with him. It was only 3 overs. It's not the end of the world. They can
no,
go
no,
again tomorrow morning, though.
yeah, it'll be almost a brand new ball tomorrow morning.
Yes, quite.
And so 326 for 8 at the end of day one. It's not a hopeless score, but uh, my sense is Australia left a lot of runs out there, and it's going to be a much better wicket to be playing on tomorrow. That England are probably in the much preferable position at the end of day one.
Well, theoretically, they are.
Here's a
We've been
man
here
who's
before.
had experience of heartbreak.
Well, theoretically, they were probably in the better position at the end of day one of the first two tests as well. And look what
Yeah.
happened. It's just the sad thing, really, for me, is we finally arrived on us. I say we. England have finally arrived on Australian shores with a team that should be able to go toe to toe with Australia. That is a very, particularly with its batting, that is a very decent England team. And Australia have been key players have been missing.
Mm.
The batting lineup wasn't in great form. It should have been a really tight series to this point, and it's a great sadness that it hasn't been. England have got one last chance really in this match to make a series of it. Even if they don't end up even drawing it, at least let's leave with some good memories and a really tight series. Let's not play champagne cricket, honestly, on this occasion. I don't care whether you call it Bazball or not. I do. It's a perfectly good option to play slightly, to play more confident or more aggressive cricket than to go toe to toe with Australia. I think that's a good idea. But shot selection is not irrelevant either. There has to be some of the shots that Harry Brook's been playing in this series have been bizarre. They're just bizarre.
I think he
Um,
acknowledged that the other day, didn't he?
well, that's good to that's good to hear. And maybe they misunder. You see, I think the word baseball covers two. It's a
oh,
bit like saying cricket or
yeah, yeah.
aggression or something. You've got to define what you mean. I
Yeah,
think it's a good idea to take an aggressive approach and to go toe to toe with Australia because if you show any timidity to Australia in Australia, you've already lost. I always remember Ashley Giles saying, as we were going in on the bus to the first test in 2006, we felt we'd already lost. Well, what kind of an attitude is that?
Jesus
Honestly,
Christ.
yeah. No, he did because we felt we'd lost three of our key players, etc., etc. Well, man, if that's how you felt going
Yeah,
into the ground, no bloody surprise you lost. That has not been as Gary, our own blessed Gary says, I'd rather lose with an excess of audacity than an excess of timidity, and I agree with that. But please, can we just temper the approach and
yeah,
play some sensible cricket at the appropriate moments in the innings?
yes. That sounds excellent. Or tomorrow we'll resume. It's going to be hot tomorrow and 39 degrees in Adelaide. So not a good day for Australia to be in the field, which you assume they'll be for pretty well all of it. 2 wickets
That's very true.
to capture, unless we have a repeat of Brisbane and somehow Stark, Lyon, and Bolden manage to stretch it out for a couple of hours, which seems unlikely. Um,
I mean, we often just a quick one on that, Messi.
yeah,
We always say well, it's not a good day to be in the field, and indeed it isn't. But it's not a good day to be behind lots of padding and a helmet in
true.
39 degrees either. It's difficult for batsmen on
Yeah,
39-degree days, that's for sure.
that's certainly true. Couple of questions for you, Forthy. Firstly, your most memorable moment of the day for you.
Ooh, I haven't really given that much thought. I think to be fair to Alex Carey, it was very nice to see him score that century. In terms of a champagne moment, if you like, it's hard to look past Zach Crawley's catch
Yes, I
against
agree.
Travis Head, which was absolutely
It
magnificent.
was superb.
Superb.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Uh,
that, what for each side there?
and the other question is the Guerilla performance of the day. Was there something that any particular Guerilla did or said that stood out for you in terms of their performance? And it may even be somebody who's
Yeah.
messaging in. I don't know.
Yes, yes, yes. I think on this occasion I'm going to select myself for getting 7 out of 8 English wickets.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
With a
yes.
superb tactical performance that you wouldn't have even noticed what I was doing.
I think that's well deserved, Forthy. If only we had a statuette, we'd give you one to hold.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Uh,
Yes.
so thank you
And as
very much.
ever,
Sorry.
and all our super chatters, thank you so much to all of you. Yeah, we really, really appreciate that and your contributions, of course.
Indeed. It makes it a lot of fun. And I think that's
It's
really
been a good fun day.
what
Yeah,
we're
it's
here
been a good
for,
fun
really,
day.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's been. I really enjoy days like this that are very well balanced days of Test cricket. What more do
Yes,
we want?
exactly. Exactly. Let's have lots more of it. Well, thank you very much for that, Forthy. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for the second day's roundup. In the meantime, we would love your support. If you're not already a Patreon, please go to patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket, and you'll see the various ways in which you can contribute to us on a regular basis and the benefits that you may enjoy for that, including access to our Discord channel, which is always a lot of fun. But that's it for today. Thank you very much, Forthy, for being with us.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure.
Indeed it has.
There's the bear in there, and Hendo as well. There are jingles they play, and swear words to yell.